Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your February 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always. And I also pulled the Wisdom Oracle, 4 Agreements, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright. Well, we have the South Node, and the South Node is in Scorpio, which is your opposite sign, and opposite sign points to partnerships, relationships. Astrologically speaking, though, there's nothing else really in there other than the South Node at this time. Alright, we also have 12th house. 12th house energy for you guys is Aries, and we have Jupiter and Chiron there. And generally speaking, 12th house points to mental health, blind spots, and spirituality. And we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius for you guys is actually your 8th house, which could point to death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. And astrologically speaking, there's nothing going on there either, but maybe I have a little bit of focus on that area this month. All right, so with all that out of the way, we get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the 4 of Cups, Cancer energy, and squaring that, we have the 3 of Cups, also Cancer energy. So you can see this playing out a couple of different ways. One way could just be saying that you might be in a state where you're reminiscing on the past and missing those times, right? Almost that old saying, the good old days, right? You could just be looking back on a time where you felt like you were enjoying things more. And it could just be saying the challenge there might be to reach out to people from that time period, right? If you were enjoying that time more, if you've lost contact with those people, it could just be encouraging you to reconnect with them. But for others, you could just be saying that you might find that you are still in that same type of cycle, but you might find that you've outgrown it, right? So that could be the difficulty there, where it's like, okay, maybe these are people you've dealt with for years, right? You've known them since you were kids in some cases, but now you feel like, oh, I'm kind of outgrowing these connections and I'm seeking something more, right? So see that going either way. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Page of Wands. So yeah, to me, this looks like you do have a desire to get out there and explore more. So could be more of the second scenario we were talking about, where you might feel like you've outgrown your environment a little bit, right? And you might feel like there's new things you want to go out and explore and see. And part of that could just be having Uranus in your sign, right? It's been there for quite some time, but for those of you who like have your Taurus placement in the middle of the sign, you might be feeling a little bit more right now. All right, past position, we have the 2 of Swords, Libra energy. So yeah, could just be saying that this is something you've been giving a lot of thought to, right? Maybe you've been trying to figure out for yourself, like, is it actually that I've outgrown these situations, or is there something else going on, right? So you could have been in a bit of an evaluation phase. But yeah, I do feel like there is this underlying current of potentially wanting to move somewhere too. All right, present position, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is actually Libra energy here. Excuse me. So to me, this says that you could be looking to strike balance too, right? So part of you might almost feel a little bit of guilt if you do feel like, oh, I've outgrown the people I've been dealing with, right? So you might be trying to find a way to strike a balance where you could still have a certain level of loyalty to those situations, but still be able to move forward and explore some new things, right? So that could be where you're finding yourselves now, trying to figure out how to strike that balance. All right, and in your future position, we have the Fool. So yeah, this definitely looks like connected to the Page of Wands energy we see there, where it looks like you will actually put yourselves out there in some way and actually make an effort to go out and explore. And seeing this makes me think of the way I explain Uranus to some people. To me, it's almost like that person that will encourage you to do something out of your comfort zone, right? Where it's something that you mentioned to them that you want to do, but it's so far out of your comfort zone, you're reluctant to try it, right? Uranus will kind of be like that friend that will nudge you on, like, yeah, you should totally give it a shot, right? So some of you could just be feeling the effects of that, especially because the full moon we're going to have in Leo in February is actually going to make a perfect square, more or less, with Uranus in your sign. So you might really feel that urge around that time. All right, in the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Knight of Wands. So yeah, Sagittarius energy here. So well, like I said, there's not really anything there going on astrologically speaking when we were talking about that coming up in your dice. You could just be feeling that urge, right? Now, ninth house energy for you guys, which is Sagittarius is the general ruler of the ninth house, and your ninth house is Capricorn. And we had that Mercury retrograde that pretty much was just wrapping up in Capricorn, so it might have had you thinking about these things too, right? Oh, there's these places I want to get out and explore, right? So that could just be the mode you're in right now where you want to go out and explore new things, try new things. All right. In the environment position, we have the devil. So I can see this playing out a couple of different ways too. One could just be saying that these feelings that you're getting to go out and explore something new, you might feel like they're really just obsessive at this point, right? Or for others of you, could just be saying that this could be what has you feeling like you do need to go out and explore because you might feel like you've been chained to a certain pattern, right? A certain environment for so long, and you feel like you're ready to break free from that. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Pentacles. So I'm going to assume that this is a hope. This is actually the court card that represents your sign. And to see this here, I feel like this is saying more than anything. This represents you guys having that desire to feel more like yourselves, right? So, I mean, let's just look at this as a super generic way the Four of Cups energy could be playing out for some of you, right? Maybe you've gone through a little bit of a depressed cycle, right? And which would make sense as far as, I mean, like we said, we just had the Mercury retrograde, but also having Jupiter come into your 12th house, right? So that could really bring some things up to the surface that maybe you hadn't felt in a while. So it could just be one of those things where you might be coming out of that cycle. The reason I say coming out of it is definitely because of these action-oriented type cards that we're seeing here. So I feel like for a lot of you, if you have been in that cycle already, more likely you're moving out of it, but it still could be difficult to fully pull yourself out of it at the same time too, right? So for some of you, that could be as simple as that, right? Where you're like, I just want to feel like myself again. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Three of Swords. So Libra energy here. So yeah, to me, this just looks like there could be a little bit of a disappointment for you, right? Where you might feel like you want to try these new things, but still feel like something's holding you back a little bit. Now, I will say we had Mars retrograde for quite some time in Gemini, and that's finally starting to move forward again. Like I said, we're going to have that Mercury retrograde cycle just wrapping up. The post-shadow period is going to wrap up around the middle of February. And then, like I said, that full moon in Leo is going to be intense, especially for you guys, because it's going to be making that square with Uranus in your sign. So, could be a bit of a tumultuous month. But if that's the case, I feel like as we get closer to the end of February, we get to Pisces season. That's going to be a more supportive energy for your sign. So just be on the lookout for that. All right, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords. So for some of you, this could even just be related to work, where maybe you just feel like you're just so caught up in your work lives that you feel like you need a break from it, right? But you don't necessarily feel like you can find the time to pull away from your work environment. And that would make sense too, because you guys have Saturn in Aquarius, which is your 10th house of career and social status. So you just might feel that heavy weight, like you have to get things done, and that's what the devil energy represents there. So you can see how that would make sense. And actually, I was just talking about the full moon in Leo, and we do see the moon beneath this too. So yeah, look out for that period to actually start to clear things up for you. It might feel like a really intense full moon as we get to it, but then once that energy starts to clear, you might feel things improve right after that. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have always do your best. Here we go. And it says your best is changing all the time. Okay, it says your best will depend on whether you are refreshed in the morning or tired at night. Your best will be different when you are happy as opposed to upset, or healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. So yeah, definitely a pretty good message there, especially for those of you, like I said, if you have been going through even like a light bout of depression, right? It could just be one of those things where saying, hey, don't put pressure on yourself. Maybe today will suck, but maybe next week you'll be feeling a little bit better. You get more done, right? Just try to ride the wave. So hopefully that resonated with you. All right, moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Observer. There's the artwork, and the number is 49. So let's see what this has to say. And then, interestingly enough, we do see a moon in that card as well. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for lunar cycles this month. Okay, let's see. All right, essential meanings says perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. The Oracle's message: most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. Yeah, definitely a pretty good message there, especially when it talked about exploring, because that's what we were talking about a bit with the Fool card and then seeing the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. So I hope it resonated with you. Okay, the relationship message says sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take the higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself, in others, and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. Even if this is like I was saying, maybe you felt like you might have been outgrowing the situation. So if some of you feel like that could be how you feel around your relationship, hopefully that message resonated there too. All right, and the prosperity message says it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what from what you're doing, and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust the spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. So yeah, pretty positive message there as well. Hopefully that resonated. And lastly, we have a Mudra for you guys. So this is your Mudra here. It's the Garuda Mudra, and the keyword for it is maturity. Alright, so let's get it to focus. And not everything's going to fit in the frame here. So what I'll do is I'll keep it here for a second if you want to pause it to take a screenshot to read what it has to say. Then I'll move it up so we can get the rest in the frame. There we go. So under benefits, it says improves intelligence, increases digestive fire, activates Manipura chakra, builds martial prowess, and according to legend, serves as protection against snakes, snake bites, and venom in general. So if that sounds like a Mudra thing would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.